Good morning, my dear friends. A warm welcome to the International Fab Talks. Thank you for being with us and thank you for encouraging us to connect with the world. My dear friends, it's the time of peace. It's the time of happiness and joy. It's not the time of war. The war is a matter of the past, but yet there are a few leaders across the world indulging in wars, killing innocent children, and damaging families, destroying civilization. So, friends, we are here bonded with a young professional, a young person who's out there to bring peace into the world in her own way. My friends, let's concentrate on the best things that the universe has offered us. And let us be focused on bringing out the best in each other, not taking away the lives and wiping out, humanity from the earth. So, dear friends, I'd like to invite today on stage Miss Sneha Das from Kolkata, West Bengal. She's a fine young lady who's out here to inspire us. She's a beautiful psychologist on the psychological journey, wanting to understand people. Why do they behave in such a way where they create chaos in the life of others? She's really that person who wants to make you understand that you have to live a life in a beautiful way and contribute to the universe, and then that creates a beautiful space for each one of us. I'd like to invite Sneha Das today on the International Fab Talks. Ma'am, welcome to the session.
Thank you, Crystal. I would like to introduce myself briefly. So, there's a saying that we always get a calling. People who are in the journey towards a psychological goal, or they want to become a psychologist or a professional in the domain. We get a calling. We are attracted towards this field for a reason. Now, the thing is, initially when I had joined the domain, I did not discover this stuff. I did not discover the reason why I took part into it. It was a very random decision from my end initially. But eventually, as time passed by, I discovered why the calling, as mentioned. So, yes, I am currently pursuing my master's in psychology, um, in a specialization of organizational behavior. And I look forward to creating an impact in people's life in the time ahead, because I feel that in organizations, there is a very tough competition in the current times, and there's no one to basically help or to, soothe down the tension that goes on in an organization. So I feel like it's a dire responsibility from my end to look forward to it.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
That's really nice. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for accepting the invite from the International Fab Talks. Much appreciated, ma'am. Thank you so much. At such a young age, you are all out there to bring an inspiration, to create that impact and be an inspiration to everyone. My dear friends, we have Sneha Das, who has completed a BA Applied Psychology. She's pursuing an MA in Psychology now. She's an aspiring psychologist, and she also is focusing on the digital marketing space, right? You also are into that, which you will be sharing. And friends, she would want you also to come out like that and give your best. She would want you to understand your inner calling. What am I to do with this life of mine? How do I understand my goal? What is my journey? Where is my calling? So, this young person with us will tell us all about her journey and much more, my dear friends. Stay tuned and stay connected. Dear ma'am, we'd like to ask you once again, how did you enter into the field of psychology? As you already have shared, you had a calling. What about the digital space, that you are a digital marketing, into that? How would you explain that for us?
Right. So basically, I have always been a very creative soul. Since my childhood, I have been into drawing, and I never got a guide of sorts, but I have always initiated it from myself. Now, the thing is, there is a very common ground, as we know, that merges both psychology and designs. Now, the digital marketing space gives me that area to actually explore both of them. So, basically, I think we have heard about UX designs, that is, user experience designs. So, it uses a great deal of psychology as well as designs to create a certain product or website of sorts. So I have a keen interest towards that area, and I look forward to learning more in the same. And talking about the calling that you asked me about. So basically, in my plus two, I had science, as we commonly know that we get pressured for taking up science in our plus two, right? So I was never contented. Like I did take up science by the pressure that I have received from my guardian or my teachers during that time. But I was never contented with the complete idea of pursuing with science that time. I had always been like internally, I had always wanted to take up psychology in my plus two, but I couldn't. I couldn't have that. Then eventually, I just got myself too strong. I just told myself I'm doing this in my bachelor's, and I went about it. And there was no going back from there because now I'm currently pursuing my master's, and I also look forward to doing a PhD in my subject someday. So, yeah, this is basically it.
Wonderful, dear. Thank you for sharing all of that. That's really very nice. And we do wish to see you soon completing your PhD and being one of the best psychologists amongst the others. Dear ma'am,
Thank you.
how do you manage your stress? Like we see, we all of us are
Yeah,
having a lot of stress, especially the middle-aged people, the youth as well, who are and the senior citizens. No matter who or everyone have their share of stress levels. How do you de-stress? Could you help us from your de-stressing method? Could we also gain something? Would you like to share that?
sure. So, in a very simple term, I sleep. Sleep is the only medicine I feel that can de-stress you. But again, there is a term called stress sleeping. So I would like to highlight a little bit on that. Now, like when we have a lot of work or lot of tasks to get done, sometimes we tend to feel sleepy. Like even students face this. When there is an exam of sorts, they feel sleepy. This is a sort of denial. We feel that people are trying to sleep it out, right? But I feel that sleep is necessary to actually declutter, to reduce the pressure that is there. And another thing that I would like to mention is prioritizing. Like there may be a number of tasks, but there is a thing about urgency, right? Certain tasks require urgent, immediate attention, and certain tasks can be attended later. So this way, I think we can actually deal with the stress.
Wonderful, ma'am. Thank you so much for sharing. That's really very nice. Dear ma'am, we would like to know about your childhood. How were you as a little kid? Were you very naughty, a very shy child, talkative one, or mischievous one? Did you get beating from teachers and parents? Would you like to share that?
Yeah, sure. So basically, I was a very, very active kid when I was young. I loved playing and I was all naughty and, going around from place to place. I have received like people's love for being naughty again. That's another thing. And again, I have got thrashing as well. Like I used to get beaten up by my like guardians and stuff. But yeah, I think I had a good childhood.
Yes, dear. Thank you so much for sharing, ma'am. Even I was beaten up for lots of mischief that I had done when I was a kid. Yes, dear. And so if anyone says, yeah, even I was beaten up, so I said, okay. So people are maybe like me. Some of them say, no, I had a beautiful childhood. Nobody beat me. I was pampered and all. Yes. So thank you for sharing that. Dear ma'am, you at this young age are really an inspiration to many of the youngsters who are wasting their time. They have to learn from you. You are an inspiration. At your age, I did not have the clarity as to where and what I had to do. I got a clarity much later in life. So I'm sure that you are a great inspiration to all of us. But here the question is, who is your inspiration? Who has inspired you to become who you are today?
Right. So basically, there is no one person that I can quote who is an inspiration. There has been an involvement of many people, even people who are my age, and even people whom I don't connect directly. There, I would like to present one specific person who was actually my age. She was my classmate. I looked forward to her, and like she was at everything. Like she was into psychology, she was into art, she was into reading, she was into everything, and she managed everything. Though I also know, like even if I take her as an inspiration, she had her own struggles. Yet I really looked up to her that, she could actually manage everything on her plate, even though she was stressed. She was all calm, and she could like deal with everything without getting angry, or without giving any reaction of sorts, because she could manage herself so well. Like, that way, she was an inspiration to me.
Oh, that's really nice. Thank you for sharing. That's wonderful. Dear ma'am, do you read books? And yes, of course, you do read books. Which is your favorite book? I should put it in that way. Which is your favorite book? If you could name the book, maybe we or our virtual audience and guests could, lay our hands and read and benefit from it.
Right. So I have been an avid reader when I was like in my teenage, but due to work pressure and academics, it's a little bit in the crunch now, so I don't get much time to read nowadays. But I read one book very recently. It's been a year or so. That is Paulo Coelho's 11 Minutes. So, like, I know it might be a little censored to talk about it, but this was based on the life of a prostitute, right? And as it is that we feel that prostitutes are very helpless, they need the help and support of people, and they are kind of dragged into the profession. But though the main character, that is Maria, she was dragged into the profession without her consent of sorts, and the consent was very like on a very compliant basis. It was not clear to her initially. It was a very ambiguous start, but then she started being part of the profession. She took it just as a profession, and then she started to discover herself in the journey. So I would really recommend people who are like listening to me here to read this book and actually understand her emotion, and see the depth that has been mentioned there. So, we attach a prejudgment that, it's a book about a prostitute, what's to read? We know that they struggle and stuff. But the story is not about struggle. It's about how you get to know yourself in the journey. So I would really recommend this book.
Wonderful, ma'am. That's really nice. Thank you so much for sharing that book and having the, the boldness, the courage to share it and say, yes, even though it is not that accepted worldwide, but I'd love to share it. I'd love to put my views across the table very clearly. Thank you for that clarity and thank you for being brave. Many of them don't come out so openly and you have that courage and you are an inspiration. Yes, dear. Yes. Dear ma'am, how do you want to be remembered in this world and why should people remember you?
Okay. So, I don't have a very concrete answer for this as of now, because I don't feel that I have contributed as much, because I'm still a student. I'm still figuring out my ways in the world. But yes, talking about being remembered, I can say that I have worked very hard for getting to the place that I am right now. Like, the clarity or the space that I have created for myself, and the recognition that I have for myself, the way I know myself. I want people to know me the way I know myself, as a confident and, independent person, because I have faced certain backdrops in my life previously, and I come up from there to make myself the way I am right now. So I want people to remember me for the way I am, the confidence that I have gained, and the hard work that I have done for myself.
Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you very much for sharing. Dear. That's nice. Ma'am, do you ever get some holidays, away from studies, away from what you're doing? Do you take out some holidays and just go somewhere and chill out? If at all, yes, your favorite holiday destination. And if no, where would you love to go when you get holidays?
Okay. So basically, I am a bit coy about going out solo for a trip or so. But talking about taking time for myself, I go out for solo dates. I go out to restaurants all by myself, or for a movie sometimes. And talking about any particular destination, I have been to Manali, Shillong. Sorry, I have been to Manali and Shillong, and both of them are the most wonderful places that I have been till date. I am obviously, as you can understand, that I am a more mountain oriented or hill oriented person. So yeah, and I would like to go to Switzerland someday to actually explore the beauty over there. Yeah, so that's what it is for me.
Yes, dear. Ma'am, do you go solo traveling? Is it?
Yeah, I travel in my city actually. I haven't gone out for a trip of sorts. I have that aim. Yeah, I'll do that someday. Not yet, but yeah, I would really appreciate that thing in my life.
Yeah, because to me, I love to do that. It's adventurous and you become bold, you become stronger. Solo traveling is really nice. Yes, you get to know
Absolutely.
yourself more better. Your courage, your strength, your determination, all that comes out, right? When you do solo traveling, you go on a solo travel.
I am just basically, taking baby steps at this because the last month I just traveled in the train all by myself. I know it's like a very small initiative from my end. So I just traveled to one of my friends and I really enjoyed the journey.
Wonderful. That's really nice. Yes, dear. My dear friends, solo traveling is really a beautiful adventure where you could try out and enjoy your lives. You become stronger, bolder, and resilient. Yes, dear. We go on to the next question about movies. Do you watch movies? And if yes, which is that movie which has impacted your life with a great social message, ma'am?
Okay, so I do watch a lot of movies and series of sorts. So basically, the last movie that actually created a deep impact on me was Good Will Hunting. I don't remember the director or the cast over there, but the movie's message was about, like the main character was brilliant in their studies and their academics and stuff. They were very brilliant in their work, but in personal life, they were suffering. Like they couldn't reach out to people. They couldn't, if they saw that someone's giving them the attention or giving them the space, they ran away from them. So this main character was introduced to a psychologist, and that psychologist showed him ways by which he could actually, live a better life in his personal life as well. Though you are excellent in your academics and your profession, you can actually also have a good personal life as well. So this movie entailed a great message to all the youth out there. So I would really recommend people to actually go and watch this movie.
Would you mind repeating the name once again, ma'am?
The movie's name is Good Will Hunting.
Goodwill Hunting.
Yes.
Yes. Thank you, ma'am, for sharing. Definitely, I'm going to watch it today before I go to bed. Yes, dear. And of course, our friends out there, you could also watch it. It's going to benefit you and make you stronger than before. Dear ma'am, what is that one core quality within you that you love? This is me. This is Sneha Das, and this is me. I have identified my core quality and I feel good about it. Have you identified something deep within you? And this is what I resonate with. This is who I am.
Okay. So the core quality I feel is being authentic from my end, because since my childhood, I have actually been a person who is very like bold, as you had mentioned during the speech for the book. So I actually don't restrict myself from speaking about things, and I feel that there's a necessity of people coming up with things and discussing things openly. So like I have been scolded for that. I have been restricted by different social figures, like my parents, or also sometimes, But I have learned one thing, that you can actually be authentic, even say no, and you can still go ahead with being a good person, or or having a good life ahead. So I feel being authentic is something that I recognize myself with.
Authentic, original, right? No plagiarism in place over there. It's all originality. And I love people who are original, no matter what. They're original and authentic. That makes me feel really nice. That you are you. I don't see the shadow of somebody in you. I see that you are a complete whole person, creative and inspiring. Wonderful. And I like that braveness within you, man. You have a lot of, courage to put yourself out into the world and, Let them know what's in your mind, because you know what you're doing is right and there's a lot of clarity. You want to bring a good change, create a good change in the world. Wonderful, ma'am. Dear ma'am, the next question arises like this. Is it good to win a lottery, or is a perfect job better? How would you try to answer this?
Okay, I would actually like to go with the lottery, being honest. Because when I get a lottery, obviously this is a hypothetical view. So I get the freedom of doing things my way. But in a job, I'm restricted by some higher authority. So somewhere, if I am capable of winning a lottery, I would plan my life according to myself, and I would make financial decisions completely based on what I think is best. So yeah, I think lottery would be a great win.
Oh, wonderful, wonderful. I like the answer. That's really nice. Wonderful answer. Dear ma'am, when you were in school and college, were you interested in sports and games?
No, I haven't been very active. So
Me too. I too was the one all creative in arts and crafts and all that, but not, having ever taken part in sports and games. So I could resonate with you easily.
actually, the thing is, like I haven't taken part in any program of sorts, but I was a very active kid, as I mentioned to you initially. So I used to play with my friends, in my locality and stuff. Like I love playing badminton sometimes. But unfortunately, there was also, some prejudice and prejudice involved with the same. So I couldn't be like, if you don't have a support from your childhood, sometimes you get demotivated in taking part in sports, right? So that was a little, a little crisis in my life. But I really look forward to being more active because, well, it should be the thing.
Yes, dear. Yes, ma'am. Dear ma'am, there are several places, several areas where a change is required in the world. There are many places. This has to be changed. That has to be. All speak about it. May we know today which area you would like to focus your energies to bring about a change in the world?
Right. So my thought towards this is very, very nominal. That is, I would just want people to be more kind, just to be a little bit more empathetic. That's it. Because the world, as days are passing by, are seeing, as you had mentioned in the beginning of the talk, that the world is seeing a lot of crisis, a lot of wars and hatred. So all I want for people to be is more open to things, and to respect people, to just be a little bit more kind. That's it. That's the only thing that makes us human at the very basic level. So I think that's something that should be worked on for everyone.
Yes, dear. Yes. Thank you for sharing, ma'am. That's really nice. Thank you. It's really very nice. So kind-hearted of you that you want something very simple to be changed in the world. And that is quite possible. If we all try together, we could bring about a vast change, empathetic, being kind, being understanding, acceptable instead of the wars and crimes that are going on. Dear ma'am, how would you differentiate smart work and hard work from your perspective?
Before I answer this question, I just need to connect my laptop with the
Yes, please. Yes,
connection.
please.
So
Yes,
just give me some time.
yes, please. We shall connect, ma'am.
So basically, the concept of smart work and hard work is a very recent thing as of now. I mean, people really talk about it, but what is it? Like, what is smart work and what is hard work? And if we do smart work, shouldn't we do hard work? And if we do hard work, should we do smart work? That's a question that arises very often. So speaking of hard work, that is also necessary, and smart work, that is also necessary, because if you're just doing smart work and no hard work, you will not find any outcome of sorts. I'll give a very, very basic example to this thing. Suppose you're looking for a job, right? You do smart work in terms of creating an excellent CV, you create a LinkedIn profile, you create a database for yourself for the starters. But if you just sit back and don't reach out to people, you really think there's going to be an outcome. So this is what it is. With smart work, hard work is also necessary. You have to reach out to recruiters. You have to reach out to organizations where you there is a possibility of you getting the job. This is one example. Then there is another example that I would talk about in terms of academia because I am a part of it right now. So smart work is necessary in terms of understanding your concepts, in organizing your matter. But is hard work necessary? Yes, of course. If you don't study the material after preparing the whole plan, what is the use? So I feel that hard work and smart work go simultaneously. But smart work is something that you will need more because if you don't use your smartness, if you don't use your intellect in doing a certain thing, hard work will not pay off. So I feel both are necessary.
What a way to explain that. Brilliant. Excellent. With all the examples that you've given, you've really done justice to that question, ma'am. Excellent.
Thank you.
Dear ma'am, do you believe in savings at a young age?
Actually, I believe in investing in a young age, since a young age, because investing in stocks or investing in other avenues such as other platforms of sorts, I feel that if you start from a very young age, as I had read in the book Psychology of Money, I had actually read about it there. So if you start very young, you actually elicit a good fortune when you reach up to a certain age. And savings is something where you are limiting your money. You're just saving it. It's not growing, right? So when you're investing the money, this grows. This gets bloomed by the method of compounding. So I feel that people actually should start investing from a very young age. I am trying myself too. So yeah, you're not audible.
Yeah. I love the way you said savings overtakes or investment overtakes savings. It's not just saving, it doesn't make sense. Invest it in the right way such that it multiplies. Right? That's really nice. And
And
youngsters,
investing is sorry to
sorry,
interrupt
sorry,
you.
you can continue, please. You please continue.
Yeah. So investing is again not just about the financial or the monetary factor, but investing in knowledge or investing in skills is also something very important.
Perfect, perfect. I get it right there, ma'am. Is invest in your studies, invest in your education, invest in yourself, invest to learn new courses, be future ready. Invest in yourself, instead of wasting the money on films and cinema, etc. Invest it in the right way such that you could benefit from it and, of course, create a beautiful space. Wonderful, ma'am. You're such a young person with such a lot of worldly wisdom. And that keeps me really, I'm in awe. I'm just like amazed to know all of this from you. That's really nice. Ma'am, would you like to share a few names of your best friends that these are the ones who were with me and will be with me? Are there anybody like that in your life? A few best friends from school, maybe college?
So basically, in different phases of my life, I have got different people who have supported me. Uh, Primarily, I would like to mention my partner, Onejit Roy. He is currently doing his MBA in IIT Kanpur. And since he has been there in my life, he has actually helped me like learn way more things about myself than I actually knew. Like, there were times like I have been like scared of certain situations and I couldn't face them. So I started to become escapist or I started to escape situations just in the fear of what might happen. He has taught me this one thing that if you don't take a chance, you'll never know what's there in the other side of the tunnel. You will never know that. So he has given me that motivation, and he has taught me many other things. This is just one example to that. And then there are many other friends of mine. That is, I have a friend named Omoto who is currently doing a job in Bangalore, and he has been there when I was going through a major emotional breakdown myself for like about 1 or 2 years in the beginning of my bachelor's. I was going through some breakdown. I wouldn't want to share it because it's a little personal. But yes, he was there by my side. And also a friend from school. She is technically my best friend, but I didn't mention her in the beginning because, well, there was some gap between us for some time. But then she's always been there, in certain, well, like milestones. She's always been there. Obviously, like, quarrels and, like tough times go through in relationships. But, eventually the people who stick around, I think that's a blessing of sorts.
Yes, dear. Thank you for sharing all of that, ma'am. That's really very nice. Thank you so much for sharing. What brings a smile to your face often? In spite of all the ups and downs, we see you smiling, we see you sharing all of your knowledge with the world, and there's a lovely charm on your face. How do you balance that smile always?
Right. So basically, I feel there is, I have gained this idea of myself that there is never an end to the world. No matter what comes your way, no matter how bad the situation may be, there is no end. Like, you are not, there is no death. You're not dying. You're not ending. There is no end to anything. So there's always, if there is no end, it means that there is always a solution. So you got to plan. You got to, are you there? Yeah. So you got to just plan, you got to seek out solutions, you got to think, and you're going to always find out some way or the other. Maybe the way that you're focusing on is not the only way, but like you got to focus on different areas and you got to get a solution. So no matter what happens, I always know there's a way out. So yeah.
Yes, dear. Dear ma'am, any weaknesses for sweets, chocolates, and ice creams? When you just see them, you says no, you feel like, no, I should go and eat it. Or if somebody else is eating, you feel like that urge, yeah, I should also have a bite of it. Is there something like that?
Yeah, so I suffer from gluttony, okay? I really love eating. I love eating. I'm a big foodie. So I like die for pizzas and like sweets of sorts. Any sweets will do because like I'm a sweet tooth as well. So I just love eating and there is no boundary to it. I will I love eating like sour to sweet to bitter, anything like I'm just a big foodie. That's all I can say.
How sweet of you. So sweet. That's really nice to share that. Even me also, I'm just something like that. Even I love, great food and a foodie, of course. I enjoy everything. Dear ma'am, you've been on this beautiful journey, and from where do you derive this Shakti, or you could say the strength to continue? So most of the youngsters will give up, but you've been through so much and yet you're continuing. You have a beautiful insight into the future. You have a good clarity as to what you want to do. From where do you get all of this strength from?
Right. So I think I would actually connote this to myself. Like uh, there are times of weaknesses. I feel insecure as to what I'm doing and what I'm not. It's not always perfect, as I may present now. It's not always perfect. There are times of crisis. There are times when I feel like I'm not good enough, or maybe I'm insecure. But then again, I reflect back to the things that I have done all this while, and I try to tell myself that I have been good at performing this, or I have been good at executing this. Then why doubt myself now? And I also feel like I believe in manifestations. So I also feel that if I attach a negative emotion to a future that might be possible for me, and if I am restricting that by attaching negative thoughts to it, then the outcome might not be as I am thinking. So instead of thinking anything negative or attaching a doubt to that, let's just expect the possibility and just go ahead with it.
Brilliant, brilliant. Thank you, dear. Thank you for sharing. Your favorite color, ma'am, and why?
Right. So I initially mentioned that my favorite color is blue because I'll tell you honestly, I would tell you black, but black wouldn't have suited with the background and all the other captions that you mentioned, right? So I would choose black because black is a color of confidence and elegance. And it actually does give me a lot of confidence in terms of like, wearing clothes and attires. And black really makes me very confident. And if you're talking about other colors, purple is one of the color that I really like. It's a very beautiful color of sorts. So any other things like, like for my table or something else, like something of that sort, other materials, I think I'd go with purple and maybe the light pastel shades. I really love them.
Yes. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. As a student, your favorite subject in school, when you were a school going kid, your favorite subject?
Right. I was into biology very much. Like I used to love studying biology of sorts.
Yes.
So
Dear ma'am, any message for the younger students who you are a student of, you're a postgraduate student, and yes, you're an aspiring psychologist, but there are several little youngsters who are younger than you into school and into early college, into their graduation or maybe into the 11th and 12th standard. What would be the advice you would like to give them? I will not go with the word advice, we'll go with the word suggestion, because youngsters don't like to take an advice, they rather take it as a suggestion. How would you suggest them, or what do you want to suggest and create an impact in their lives? Any message?
yeah. So if I'm really talking about a suggestion, one thing that I would like to suggest is before giving a suggestion, I would like to mention this that in the current times there is no restriction. There is no restriction as to that you have to complete your 10th or 12th and then you have to do a bachelor's and then a master's and then a PhD of sorts, or you choose a particular professional career of sorts. Now you can start your careers from even like class 10 or 12, and there is a vast area, so this also creates confusion, right? So what I would like to suggest here is, first do your research, try to understand your areas of interest, listen to absolutely no one, be invincible, do what you feel like, and be happy. That's it. Because in the teenage or in the young adulthood, there's a lot of confusion, there's a lot of information that comes in. So we often feel confused as to where do we belong as an individual, right? So I feel that try to do as much as research as possible. Try to look at YouTube or read books, or try to seek out information from a role model of sorts. Try to seek out guidance from people, but still make your ultimate choice by yourself. Don't decide based on anyone's decision, because this is something coming from a very personal experience, that when you take decisions based on someone else, even be it your parents, the outcome is something that you might regret later in the very long run. So make your choice. Be absolutely shameless at this, but make your own choice, take your own decisions, and yeah, you're good to go.
Yes, dear. A very progressive thinker. I see you as a progressive person with progressive thoughts, and that's nice. To be independent, not to be dependent on anyone, to be responsible for the decisions you take, learn through experiential learning. Yes, wonderful. In fact, everyone should develop this independence and become strong and bold than being dependent, than being like, the best word I could use here is like a parasite, wanting others to decide for you, wanting others to take, make things easier for you. You come out of your comfort zone and go ahead with your life. And that is life, living life to the fullest, being responsible for what decisions you take and, learning through experience. Wonderful, ma'am. I really love the way you
And
have your thinking process. Yes, dear.
And also, there's another thing that there is no restriction of sorts. Like if you're studying, suppose, humanities subject, you can't do a subject from the engineering background or the science background. There's no limitation as such. For me, for instance, I am doing my psychology degree as well as I'm interested in digital marketing and designs. So there is no restriction of sorts now. So you can actually also think of ways by which you can collaborate certain disciplines, and you can go ahead with something new.
Brilliant, brilliant. Wonderful. And hats off to you for this beautiful way of thinking life in a new way. You're bold, you're strong, you're frank. and you know what you're doing. No, that's really nice. Yes, dear. Dear ma'am, is there any favorite quotation or a proverb that you'd like to share with us that has inspired you?
Um, I would go with something very simple. That is, as you sow, so shall you reap, right? So I am saying this is because, as I had already mentioned about, taking charge of yourself. So you always know that you reap the outcome of what you have done in your life and not the outcome of someone else. We often, sometimes it happens so that, we blame others, we blame a situation, we blame a certain uh, like occasion for the outcomes of our life. But it's not so. We make decisions, maybe conscious or unconscious, but we do face the outcomes by ourselves. So I think taking complete accountability of what you do in your life makes a complete, like, it describes the trajectory as your, like, you the direction or the trajectory that you're taking in your life completely decides the same.
Yes, dear. Yes, dear. Ma'am, do you love pets? If so, which is that? Is it a puppy or is it a kitten?
Right. So I don't have any pets of my own, but my friends obviously they do have some pets. And I actually love being in company of both the animals. Like I love being in the company of dogs as well as cats. But if I am talking about being a favorite, I love being around cats because cats are very, like, as you can understand, like I am a very independent personality myself and I like my own space also. So I can see that thing in cats as well. Like cats are very independent and very, feline of sorts. They don't mix with anyone just like that. They'll just go to people who they like, and even the people they like, they don't go to them for, like, completely for all the time. They won't cuddle and stuff. They'll come by themselves. They'll get your care and then they leave. So this is something that I really appreciate in a cat. They are independent and stuff, and they don't depend on anyone for anything. In fact, others depend on them. That's the kind of mindset they function in. So yeah, I really appreciate that.
Me too. I'm a cat person. I love cats. Yes, so nice. I resonate with you on that. I agree with you. Dear ma'am, how many languages are you conversant in?
Okay, so I can converse in English and Bengali and Hindi. These are the three languages I know, and I very very briefly know German of sorts because I had the subject in my undergraduation level. But I don't I'm not very proficient at that. But yeah, that's all.
Would you oblige to sing a song for us in any of these languages? Maybe one or two lines. Would you like to?
I won't go for that because I have a sore throat right now.
Okay, dear. Fine, fine. Dear ma'am, I have a cup in my hand. How would you look at this cup? Is it half full, half empty? Is it filled to the brim, or is it overflowing?
Right. So it's I don't see the content of it, so I wouldn't be able to describe completely. But yeah, I think it's full.
Yes, dear. That's really nice. A nice way to, uh, assume and predict what's it. Is it full or half empty or, half full? That's really nice. I like the positivity. Dear ma'am, and this shows that you're a very positive person, living your life to the fullest and want to continue with the same in the future. If the Almighty or the universe were to offer you a superpower, what would that be from your side that you would want to select?
Okay. I would actually like to see through people. I would actually like to see through them because, well, I would also like to place this that, in the journey of life, you also have to deal with a lot of people, right? So trying to get to know how people feel or think about a certain thing gives you the power to actually, manage a lot of things and stuff. I mean, it might also come into a sense of persuasion, which is not something that I would deny is necessary in the current times, right? We got to deal with a lot of people and we got to even persuade people for certain things. So yeah, I think that would be a great superpower for my end.
Wonderful, wonderful. That's nice. If you were given a chance to select somebody's life and relive their life, whose life you would love to relive?
I think I don't have anyone in mind of sorts. I don't have anyone in mind.
Yes, dear. Ma'am, what are the changes that you visualize in the next 50 years? Any two changes?
In my personal life or in
In
the world,
general, in general.
right? I don't visualize anything very different from what is currently happening and what we can assume. Like the generation or the era of AI has already come in. So we can already expect a lot of development in the current times. One area of development that I would really like to talk about is the genetics. So there are deadly diseases or terminating diseases that are there in the present times. So I would really look forward in the upcoming 50 years so that, we can make changes in the genetics and we can actually get rid of such terminal illnesses so that people can live better, people can live properly till, the stipulated time of their death. But obviously, we cannot control death like that. But at least we can try to, minimize the suffering as much as we can. Because talking about diseases like cancer of sorts, it's very debilitating, and the people who go through the illness, they suffer two extremes, like chemos and everything, and there is no possible solution that has still been discovered of that, and it's also believed to be a genetic disease of sorts somewhere. So I feel there should be some work in that area, and looking forward to it. In 50 years, I think that there's going to be much development in that area as well.
Thank you for sharing. Thank you so much for sharing. That's really nice. Ma'am, do you have something like this to share? They are red flags. Stay safe. Would you like to create an awareness today on this platform to all the youngsters, the middle aged people, irrespective of gender? That yes, this is a red flag in your life. Stay safe. Any two red flags?
Okay. Talking about red flags, now we use the term red flags in terms of, the choice of a partner of sorts, or, that's exactly where we use it. Red flags, and, he or she is toxic, and, she's narcissistic, and, he is narcissistic of sorts. These are the terms that we generally get to hear. Now, the thing is, I would like to create awareness in this ground. That is, we are very easy to tag and name people like this. Instead of knowing their background, instead of understanding the reality of those terms as well. Because the terms like narcissist or red flags are very, like it tags the person. It's very like debilitating to the person that we are quoting it to. We might not know why the person is behaving the certain way. So tagging a person like that, and making that person a quote unquote narcissist or a red flag of sorts is very restricting in its own way. So, what I feel is we have to understand that there is always a balance between both. People can not only have positive, not only have a positive side, people do have negative aspects as well. No one is completely free of trauma or pain or suffering of sorts. So we can't always, categorize people in one area or one genre and look at them with such a restricted mindset. So let's be more open. Let's be more uh, like let's normalize the fact that we have to look at people as humans. No one's like people are not machines that they're going to be perfect at all ends. So what I feel is the term red flag should be discarded from the dictionary of sorts, because I don't find anything as a red flag. Even bad experiences teach you a lot of things, right? Even like negative aspects from one individual teaches you how not to behave like that, right? So there's always a place of learning, always a place of knowing more. So I think there should be more normality, there should be more balance in the way we see people.
Yes, dear. Thank you for sharing, ma'am. Thank you. We appreciate that answer from you. Thank you so much. What do you have to say about constructive criticism?
Right. Talking about constructive criticism, I feel uh, like it's basically a feedback of sorts. So when you are providing a feedback, you don't talk in a very negative tone, or a very somewhere it does not pull down the self-esteem of the individual when you're providing a feedback. But when you're providing negative criticism of sorts, like you're criticizing the person's um I'll just give you an example. Someone is trying to create a certain thing, right? So if you say that this is bad, this is not good, this is not up to the mark, these feedbacks have a tendency of making you feel low, making you feel less of yourself. Instead, if the person receives feedback such as, you can make changes in this area, you can make a certain change in this area in your creation, then this I feel is like a constructive way of providing people the guidance, or the feedback of sorts that makes them grow further. So yeah.
That's really nice. Thank you for sharing. Very nice. Dear ma'am, do you forgive others easily? Yes or no?
Okay, this question is a little taxing. I'll be honest in this. Not really very easily sometimes, because also it depends on the things people do and how close they are. So if someone's very close to me, then I'll be angry at them, and I'll just fight with them and stuff, and I will get rid of it eventually. But if the intensity of the thing that has been done is too much, then obviously I'll take my time and I'll do with it. Yeah.
Yes, dear. Very true. On a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate yourself with regarding to forgiving others? With regard to forgiving others?
Um, I would scale myself at 8.
Okay, that's really nice. Yes, dear. Dear ma'am, we've come to an end to the main part of the interview. We have a small segment called as the rapid fire round. It will just take 5 minutes. May I go ahead with it, ma'am?
Sure.
Yes. Thank you. My dear friends, we've been with our special celebrity, Sneha Das, a youngster who's out there to inspire the world, an aspiring psychologist. Dear friends, we had a lovely journey with her. She's a very bold and outspoken person, and I love people who know what is in their mind and are unafraid to share it. And here's a beautiful, person with a beautiful heart, mind, and soul. We're going to have the rapid fire round. Let's get to know about her likes and dislikes. Join me, ma'am. Join me, friends, and join me, ma'am, as well. Dear ma'am, the answers should be in 1 word or 2 words. It's a brief session.
Okay.
Yes, dear? Yes. So is it cakes, chocolates, or ice cream? What's your first choice?
Cakes.
Strawberry flavor, chocolate flavor, butterscotch,
Strawberry.
vanilla, strawberry. Summer, winter, rainy, autumn, or spring season?
Spring.
Land, water, or air travels?
Land.
City, village, or town?
Village.
When you help others, do you expect anything in return? Yes or no?
No.
Perfect day in 1 word.
In a museum?
Wow, great. That's really nice. Are you a good cook? Yes or no?
Yes.
Your favorite recipe or cuisine?
Pasta and white sauce?
Great. The name of your favorite teacher or sir when you were in school?
Shonli Bansal.
Are you an early bird or a night owl?
Night owl.
Salty, sweet, or spicy food?
Spicy.
Is it tea or coffee?
Coffee.
Is it money? Is it happiness, or both?
Both.
Introvert, extrovert, ambivert?
Ambivert.
When you're alone in a room, nobody else is there, no gadgets, only the happy sunshine in your room? You are connected to your thoughts, and where do your thoughts take you? Do they take you into the past or into the future, or is it connected to the present?
My thoughts, okay, it's a rapid fire, so that's right. Um, Future,
Great. You love socializing or me time?
me time,
Great. You're a thinker, a doer, or both?
both,
Experiential learning or theoretical learning?
experiential learning,
Fresh salads or fried food?
fried food,
Yes, dear. Me too. Yes, dear. Dear ma'am, home cooked food or food ordered from out?
home cooked food,
Is it a beach or a forest?
beach,
You love to, walk, ride a two-wheeler or drive a four-wheeler?
walk,
A small table, a beautiful music system, and a great book. What would you pick up first?
book.
Yes, dear. Dear ma'am, with this, we've come to an end to the main round of the interview, but we still have one small request from you, as every time we do on a regular basis. My dear audience, you already know that we ask our special celebrity to share 3 magical words. Dear ma'am, you need to share with us 3 magical words which could empower us and transform our lives. As we know, there are already 3 magical words called as please, sorry, and thank you, passed on from one generation to another. But we request you, being our celebrity today, to add 3 more positive words which could create magical effects in our life.
Okay. I think it would be empathy, act, and progress.
Would you like to repeat that once more for our audience and guests?
The 3 words would be empathy, act, and progress.
Thank you so much, ma'am. That's really very nice. What you're sharing now, the 3 words, are connected to what all you've been sharing all this time. Empathy, you've mentioned, progress, take action, be updated with yourself, be progressive. All that shows that you are on the right path. That's really very nice. Thank you so much for your time. We love to have you once again on the International Fab Talks to share much more, because I love the
Thank you so
progressive
much.
thinking that you have. Yes, dear. Thank you very much, ma'am. Have a lovely day. Stay connected.
Thank you.
Would you like to share a one-liner still? Would you like to share something else with our audience and everyone? One last sentence.
Um, all I can say now is I'm just still a student, and whatever I've said in this session is everything that I live and aspire for. And I would obviously want the viewers or the people who are just being there as an audience to, you know, to just mainly create the person that you are, that you aspire for. And yeah, good luck to everyone and best wishes. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am, and we wish you a very happy Diwali. Thank you so much for staying with us, and stay blessed and stay connected.
Thank you.
Yes, dear.
Happy
Dear
day.
friends, thank you, ma'am. Thank you very much. Dear friends, with this, we come to an end to the International Fab Talks. Stay safe and stay connected, and happy Diwali to all the citizens across the world, no matter which country you are and where are the Indians located in all different parts of the world. To everyone, a happy Diwali. A prosperous way to celebrate your life is to be progressive in your thoughts and views, just like Sneha Das, our special celebrity today. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.